I'm Craven Van Candy. Like, subscribe, drop us a line. Please don't leave us hanging. By its middle seasons, Tales from the Crypt had perfected its formula, taking human vice and twisting it until it snapped. Every smile hid a secret. Every success was cursed. And every episode felt like a confession whispered in the dark. These are the tales that crawl beneath the flesh. Stories of betrayal, madness, lust, and decay. There are no heroes here, only victims of their own desires. So lock the doors, listen close, because you just might hear the Crypt Keeper laughing between the screams. This is the 20 greatest episodes of Tales from the Crypt. Ranked, Part 2, Episodes 15 to 11. Let's begin. At number 15, Forever Ambergris, Season 5, Episode 3. Roger Daltrey of the legendary rock band The Who, and Steve Buscemi, everyone's favorite creep, star in the sweaty, disease-ridden descent into madness. Daltrey plays Dalton, a washed-up war photographer, desperate to reclaim his fame. Buscemi's character, the ambitious young photojournalist, Isaac. Isaac joins him on a trip into a plague-ravaged jungle, where loyalty, art, and sanity all dissolve in the heat. The story drips with infection and envy. Daltrey's arrogance blinds him to the decay spreading around, and within him. When betrayal enters the mix, the body horror kicks in, giving us some of the most grotesque effects in the series, directed with feverish energy. Forever Ambergris feels like a lost David Cronenberg film, wrapped in an EC Comics twist. It's about how art, vanity, and love can all rot the same way flesh does, from the inside out. At number 14, Dead Right, Season 2, Episode 1. The great Demi Moore headlines one of the most perfectly written morality tales in Tales from the Crypt history. She plays Kathy, a waitress told by a psychic that she'll marry a man who will come into money after killing her. When she meets Charlie, a crude, greasy, but wealthy slob, played with sleazy brilliance by Jeffrey Tambor, she thinks she's found a loophole in fate. But greed blinds her to the truth. The psychic's prediction unfolds with grim inevitability, one cruel step at a time, until the prophecy is complete, and Kathy's dead right. It's a quintessential Crypt episode, stylishly directed by Howard Deutsch, brutally ironic, and anchored by a performance from Demi Moore that sells both cynicism and fear. The moral to the story, as always, is simple. In this world, even destiny demands its cut. At number 13, The New Arrival, Season 4, Episode 7. David Warner stars as Dr. Alan Getz, a pompous radio psychologist whose ratings are slipping fast. In a last-ditch effort to reclaim his fame, he agrees to treat a disturbed child named Nora, whose mother, played by Zelda Rubinstein from Poltergeist fame, guards her with unnerving devotion. What unfolds in the creaking halls of that Victorian house is one of Tales from the Crypt's most atmospheric stories. Part ghost tale, part moral reckoning, the decaying mansion, the childlike whispers, and the gradual unveiling of Getz's guilt all build toward a climax that feels like psychological punishment from beyond the grave. It's a slow burn drenched in gothic dread, a haunting meditation on pride, neglect, and the voices that won't stay silent. At number 12, Abra Cadaver, Season 3, Episode 4. This one's a grotesque showstopper of medical horror. Beau Bridges plays a doctor seeking revenge on his brother, played by Tony Goldwyn, after a cruel prank years earlier left him traumatized His plan? Fake his own death and give his brother a live anatomy lesson he'll never forget. But in true Crypt fashion, things don't go quite as planned. As the scalpel cuts deeper, consciousness remains, and the horror becomes suffocating. Abracadabra taps into a universal fear, being trapped inside your own body, helpless and aware. It's one of the show's most visceral episodes, drenched in cold lighting, surgical steel, and bitter irony. At number 11, Four-Sided Triangle, Season 2, Episode 9. Patricia Arquette shines as a fragile farmhand who finds comfort and love in the straw-stuffed arms of a scarecrow. Her employers, cruel and manipulative, mock her obsession until it begins to take on a terrifying life of its own. This episode blurs fantasy and delusion until they're indistinguishable. Arquette's performance is heartbreakingly sincere, turning what could have been pulp into something tragic and surreal. It's Tales from the Crypt at its strangest, a fairy tale of loneliness and violence that leaves you questioning who the real monster was all along. Every horror anthology needs its descent, that part where the irony gives way to insanity. In Tales from the Crypt, that's where the stories became almost self-aware, spiraling into obsession, body horror, and art gone rotten. Keep your shovels handy, because the grave still has 2 more layers to uncover. The final vaults of nightmares, where the line between justice and damnation finally disappears. I'm Craven Van Candy, and stay tuned for Part 3, Episodes 10 through 6, as we continue to burrow our way to the top of the casket. These are the 20 greatest episodes from Tales from the Crypt, ranked. Till next time.